Capitol Hill confirmation hearings have wrapped up for the day over Judge Sotomayor's nomination to the U.S. Supreme Court. During opening statements, top Republicans expressed concerns about the judge's impartiality, but members of both parties predicted that Republicans won't try to prevent a vote. Tomorrow starts the questioning portion of the hearings. Julian Zelizer is a professor of history and public affairs at Princeton. He joins me now with his thoughts on what we've seen so far and what we can expect from the rest of the week. Professor, thanks for joining us on Bloomberg.
Thanks for having me.
Sir, what did you think of today's opening statements?
Well, it was pretty predictable. I think both parties lined up and outlined the issues they want to highlight during the questions. The Republicans were a little more aggressive, I think, including Senator Sessions, than some thought they would be. They focused on two issues. One specific is affirmative action, and two is this argument about judicial activism that the GOP has been making in recent years.
Professor Zelizer, you know a lot of people have been talking about President Obama's word empathy when he said maybe that's a quality he'd like to see in a potential Supreme Court nominee. In what ways, if any, should politicians take into account a nominee's gender, ethnicity, religious background, upbringing, non-professional experiences?
I don't think they have to take it into account, and I don't think any Democrats or Republicans are actually doing that. Obviously, I do think having a diversity of people on the court has been a benefit to how the court works, bringing in different perspectives and life experiences. But I think really that is the limit of what we get. But I think the goal is actually more widely accepted than you'd think if you were just watching, Washington News.
What are the differences between what federal legislators do and what federal judges do?
Well, obviously, judges are meant to interpret the law. Legislators make the law. And the argument about those who don't want an activist court, either if you're a conservative or a liberal, is that you want, the judges to really stick to what the law should be and interpret it that way. The politicians can bring in politics. They can bring in social issues much more easily, much more openly.
Professor Zelizer, if you don't mind, we're going to take a commercial break, but we'd like to hold you over because I have a few more questions for you. Julian Zelizer of Princeton University talking about today's opening statements by members of the Senate Judiciary Committee as the confirmation hearings for Supreme Court nominee Judge Sotomayor get underway. We're going to have more on that coming up when Bloomberg News continues. Stay with us. We're back with Julian Zelizer, a professor of history and public affairs at Princeton. We're talking about the Sotomayor confirmation hearings underway today on Capitol Hill. Professor, thanks for staying through the break. And the issue of abortion, that whether people want to admit it or not, has become the litmus test for those who are seeking the highest court in the land, those who are nominated for that court. Has that become too much of part of the discourse?
Yeah, the hearings today were interrupted by a protester, an anti-abortion protester, which was a reminder of that issue. But it has been kind of a litmus test for many years now on both sides. The current nominee is not someone that's easy to pin down on this issue. And I think we often devote too much attention to one issue or another, again,
right,
either Republican or Democrat, and miss kind of the wide range of issues that a justice will actually have to deal with in a given term.
Professor Zelizer, why a judge? Why not a lawyer? Why not someone in private practice? Why not a public defender for a nominee for the Supreme Court?
Well, she does have some of the record of being a prosecutor, which I think many Democrats found attractive.
But I'm talking about overall, maybe nominated individual,
right,
somebody who was at the top of their class, who had the best grades.
I think in general now what we want is someone with extensive experience, someone with a judicial mind, and someone who will be as immune as possible from these judicial activism charges. And this has been the pool that for a long time now we've been drawing from.
Professor, we have about 20 seconds left. Will Sotomayor be confirmed as an Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court?
Yeah, I think so, and I think Senator Graham today, who said unless there's some kind of meltdown, she's going to get confirmed, I think that's the conventional wisdom, even with most Republicans.
Julian Zelizer, he's a professor of Princeton University in New Jersey. Professor, thanks.
Thank you.